Joining us now with the reaction to all of today's news is Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan and House Freedom Caucus Chairman Andy Biggs of Arizona. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I had the honor and privilege of serving with both of you. Congressman Jordan, I want to start with you. What in the world? I guess we forgot to ask, or somebody forgot to ask, Speaker Pelosi, if you actually pass at lightning speed this impeachment, are you going to send it over to the Senate? Was that something that you were supposed to ask along the way?
No. It's again, the cliche is true. It's laughable if it wasn't so serious. But the idea that Nancy Pelosi is going to try to negotiate with Mitch McConnell and try to tell Mitch McConnell how to run the Senate, that is laughable. Here's what happened, Jason. On September 24th, when Speaker Pelosi announced they were going to go down this crazy impeachment road, she never expected to lose support across the country, and she certainly didn't expect to lose support within her own conference. Remember, yesterday we had one Democrat vote with us, we had another Democrat vote present, and we had a third Democrat switch parties because everyone sees the facts are on the president's side. So she did not expect any of that to happen, and now she doesn't know what to do because they've been had and the American people see through it.
Congressman Biggs, what are you hearing on the floor when you see these Democrats? I just can't believe we're in a scenario where the Speaker is actually contemplating not sending it over to the United States Senate.
I think that many of them are as baffled as you and I are. I mean, the very notion that you go through this process, put the squeeze on your members to get enough votes to do it. You violate every historical norm to get an impeachment this way. And then she says, I'm not going to send it over to the Senate. Well, I mean, it's outrageous. And I think it's justified to say, hey, look, you know, is the ministerial act necessary to complete the act of impeachment? So transmission necessary to complete the act of impeachment? I'm not sure if that's a legitimate question. I think it's a legitimate question, but good grief, they're not happy either.
Well, Congressman Jordan, you're from Ohio. It's a real important big state, not only politically, but to the farming industry and the benefits of the USMCA. Why did Nancy Pelosi wait? Because she could have done it a year ago. Why did she wait until today to bring up that vote?
Well, I think this gives some cover for the people who voted for impeachment because they know it's not playing. It's certainly not playing in our state. I mean, Ohio is going to go strong for president. It went for 8.5 points for President Trump in 2016. It'll be stronger again because, and you pointed this out, the president's getting things done, but he's been doing that for 3 years in spite of this attack from the left and the Democrats and the mainstream press. Taxes cut, regulations reduced, economy growing at an unbelievable pace, lowest unemployment in 50 years, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh in the court, out of the Iran deal, embassy, and now is in Jerusalem, hostages home from North Korea, and as you just pointed out, a new NAFTA agreement passed the House today. That is getting things done, and that's what the American people see, and they also see this impeachment sham for what it is, a sham.
Now, Congressman Biggs, the Nancy Pelosi that I saw up close and personal, she didn't do anything until she actually ran it through a pollster and maybe did a focus group. Is that what she's doing here? Is she just buying time to try to figure out where they ought to be by putting her, the finger to the wind and try to figure out where they should be when you reconvene on January 7th?
Well, I think that they got off script. I think she's off script right now, to be honest with you. And I think that this is the dog that caught the car. And so she's there. She wants Mitch McConnell to do things a certain way, and she's not going to get Mitch McConnell to go a certain way. You're right. They poll tested what they should say in their floor speeches, what they should say in the language that they were going to accuse the president of committing. But when you get down to the bottom of it, she's having to go against somebody without being able to poll test it, without being able to script it. And she's run up against a guy in Mitch McConnell who's basically authoritative, and he's made up his mind. And so she's she's rudderless right now. I think they honestly don't know what to do.
Now, Congressman Jordan, I got to go real quick here, but listen, Nancy Pelosi back in March sounded reasonable, saying, hey, if you're going to move with impeachment, it's got to be bipartisan, it's got to be overwhelming. What changed? Why did she get herself backed into this corner that she is right now?
Well, I think Andy's right. No amount of poll testing, no amount of setting the rules, then changing the rules, then not following the rules you change and going none of that will ever beat the fact that all the truth and the facts were on the president's side. And when you have the facts, you can win this debate. And that's exactly what has happened over the last several months. So she said this was going to be bipartisan, that this would have to be overwhelming support. But she's got this hard left base in her party. I mean, it's hard to believe we're saying there's people left of Nancy Pelosi that I think push her to do this. They try to do all the poll testing and say the right things, but the facts beat all that every single time. And that's exactly what played out here.
And I want you to both just comment quickly. I left Congress, got a better balance in my life, but now we hear today that Mark Meadows is going to retire. What's the impact going to have on the Congress as a whole? Let's start with you, Congressman Jordan, and then Congressman Biggs.
Well, Mark is, probably my best friend in this whole place. And Mark and Deb Meadows are wonderful people. He is the kind of individual that you want in public service. And he has fought for the principles that make our country special. The folks in North Carolina are going to miss him tremendously, as are folks all across this great country. The president's going to miss his great work. But I hate to see him go, but we wish him and Debbie the best, because Mark Meadows is the kind of guy you want fighting in the U.S. Congress for the things that make America the greatest place ever.
Congressman Biggs.
Yeah, true gentleman, a great leader. I think he has actually changed with Jim, and the Freedom Caucus kind of changed the institution. I think it's going to be a generational change. I'm happy I've been able to call him my friend and a mentor, and I think he's got great things ahead of him, both he and Debbie, and I wish them the very best and Godspeed, because I think they are just heroes to this country, true patriots.
Yes, Congressman Jordan, Congressman Biggs, thank you.